Hey YouTube, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by today. I wanted to let you know that I'm cheering for you. I hope your day is going well, and whatever project you're working on goes rather smoothly today. And I'm here for you to cheer me on too. I'm building my app that I've been working on for a while now, hopefully into a sustainable business. I've got my task list here on the side for today, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the first thing is the MTA put out a new map. So I want to release a new version of the app, or at least get the map into the app. And then you'll see here right in front of me the station close text has kind of slipped off the side. You can see there's two lines here, but it's not quite looking right. So I need to take another look at that. And then with the remaining time, we'll continue on the big feature that we started last week. Okay. Well, let's start off with downloading the latest map from the MTA. New to mta.info, and then we go to maps, and we get the map. So it still says February on it, even though this came out, I think it was the 28th or 29th is when this was published, and there was already a previous February map. But let's go ahead and download this into, where is our folder? Here we go. Assets, map. And we'll call it subway map.pdf. We'll go ahead and replace that. And we also have the night subway map. And then let's do a little bit of organizing. I do like to keep an archive of the maps. So that's in assets, map, archives, maps, 2024. Oh, that's not a month. Okay, so make a folder here for 02 for the previous February map. As you can see, it says, oh, this is January. Oh, my mistake. And we want to copy the two new maps that we just downloaded into this folder here. And then I'll option click them over there. And now let's make the tiles. And then I also make a smaller version of the map to easily compare what's new. Assets, map, SPX tiles. And that just looks for whatever map is in these two file names. So that'll go for a few moments, and while that's going on, let's SPX compare with 2024-01. So here's the smallish subway map, and here's the largest one of the new one. So can we open this with Kaleidoscope? And let's see what was changed. No, we don't want to install updates. Why is it completely black? Not even. I'd expect at least the title to show up. Let's see, when I when I swap back and forth, you can see that there's some diffing. Staten Island is kind of moving around. And we do see the text changing in the bottom right. Looks like there's something happening here too. Let's kind of maybe open this more directly. Open map, and then let's get these file names. So this one, and also this one. It is still all black again. What is with that? Well, that's not very helpful, differ. Like, we can see the diffs ourselves. I wonder what happened with this app. This app has been helpful for me for a very long time. Until today, when it's all black. Okay. Well, it looks like I guess from a visual inspection and going back and forth, it looks like that they'd have not moved the stops around at all. Does that mean that there's just no changes? No, that can't be the case because we can clearly see that they moved Staten Island around, but that is not showing up in this tool. Okay, I guess I'll have to come back to that for another time then. Let's try launching it from the command line. No, it's still all black. I guess they really want me to update, I guess. Let's see, can I... Yeah, we're going to have to figure that out another time. Well, the tiles are done. So that means when I relaunch the app, we will see the new map. Yep, here it says February. And yeah, it looks like all the stops are still here. Here's the new Staten Island. Looks like at least all the stops are in the same spot, which is nice. really wish the diff tool were working though. Okay, well. Oh, I am not ready to commit this database stuff though. Let's use a actual Git GUI to unstage those things. Yep, just the map stuff. And yeah, I did have it in the wrong directory, so that makes sense. 2024 February map. Okay, let's take a look at that station closed label. It's Woodhaven in the Brooklyn bound direction. Sorry, in the Manhattan bound direction. So let's open that screen up and see what we can see. That is the trip view controller. And the trip view controller, does this have a trip cell by any chance? Here it is. This has a trip arrival view inside of it. Oh yeah, that was for this thing at the bottom here is a cell when it's scrolled all the way down, but when you're scrolling up, it becomes a view that unhides. So you get this very nice slick transition. Okay, so when a station is closed, let's see if we can figure out where that is. Yeah, so the long press still works. Stop name label must be inside of here. When does this get updated? Yeah, here's the closed string. Where do I use this? Does this have like word wrap off or something? Where's the paragraph style? That might be it. I'm not sure why that wasn't there before though. No, that was not enough. Let's see. Let's look at the view inspector and see what we can see. Oh, it's kind of pushed down a little bit, but yeah, there's not really room for another line there. I wonder why that is. Paragraph style. Who uses this? Yeah, in IntelliJ, you can command click on something, it'll jump to where it's used. That's what I was trying to do there. Xcode doesn't do that. Okay, so we have these margins around it. Very tiny margins. And then what font size are we using there? And what size is this? This is system font size, which who knows what this is actually. Maybe it was not a good idea to try to synchronize with system font size because now my word wrap is messed up. Let's see, if I return, say, let's do something really tiny just to see if the font size is actually a factor here. So going to an extreme here to see that it works. Oh, it just, it fits without word wrapping if I make it super tiny. But it's not aligned, you can see. It's like, oh, all of them are like that. All of them are slightly below mid. Interesting. But now that I have a larger font size, this clearly looks like it's kind of on the second level here, and this does look like it's in the middle level. Let's look at the view debugger again. Yeah, there's a lot of space there. What if I give it a smaller minimum line height? Oh, there we go. Now we get the multiple lines. What does this look like on other phones, of course? Let's see. Let's get out the tiny phone. Building, building. I wonder if I take off the line height completely. Well, let's see what this phone finishes loading. Looks fine there as well. Yeah, I am curious to take off this paragraph style, and I am curious to put the font back. I guess setting the maximum and minimum line height to be exactly the same left the layout engine not much room to play with, is my guess. Still building. Super tiny up in the corner. Okay, let's take another peek. Get a Manhattan bound J train. And that is looking fine without, you just don't need a set of paragraph style. Okay. It's one of those things where I wonder, I wonder how that happened. I wonder how it got that way. And let's check back up on the larger phone. Which one was this? iPhone 15.7? 17. Okay, installing. Let's see what we got. Still looking pretty good. Okay, I guess that was the fix then. I guess we can check on iPad just to be sure. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. The streamers that I like watching often put in colorful stories while waiting for something. And when waiting for a build feels like a good time to do that. However, I do have a problem staying in flow when I code alone. I don't really I don't know. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I check Reddit during a build or something. But I do like to stay focused on what I'm doing. Because programming, well, a lot of creative activities is about finding that flow and staying in it. And checking Reddit, you know, does break flow because I'm listening to what other people think about other stuff and I'm not in tune with what's going on the computer. On the other hand, you know, it is a while builds, so I get it. I get why it's just watch iPad Simulator startup. Absolutely riveting. But I did have a good walk this morning. I actually went over to the West Village and got a new scenery video. I'm pretty happy about it. It's got the Statue of Liberty in it. And I believe that's the Hoboken train terminal. So I am behind on getting these new scenery videos out. I've got four, four in the hopper. Yeah, focusing for more building, more monument scenery, and I get it. So I've been into that. I know that the previous new one I published was really popular. I guess longer term it's cool to put music to these to just really zone out and watch the water go by. Uh, you know, a lot of videos on YouTube are trying to keep your attention. And I think my eyes do need a distraction to grab the bounces up. So, also, I guess I can commit and put to the side. Engine is closed on the trip screen. Yeah, and this iPad decides ready to. Oh, it's perhaps getting a little closer. Come on. Wait, supply. Is this iPad so computer? He's like, how did it be fun? Look at you take a peek. Let's quit all that. Okay, so we are good with the new map and the station closed label. Now we can head over to the new feature that we started last week. Wow, Xcode is having some trouble now. Oh, Xcode is not responding. Oh, there it goes. It has responded. Okay, all that aside, so as we were saying last week, etc., the MTA's trip IDs are not unique. So we rewrote our back end to make our back end easier to check. I do want to store train information in a database to match up trains and give them my own IDs. So the first step to that is perhaps making a database. And perhaps the first step of that is seeing, like, can I use Vapor's Fluent and Swift Argument Parser together? Because Vapor does come with its own idea of they call it console kit. But I want to make a migrate command. Define this and use this to db migrate command, and use this to run the database migrations, all in the same executable. So we did have a few support files that we pulled in last time, and I'm going to pull them now into this executable. And we started perhaps building our own little separate thing that would be just the migrations in a separate executable, but I want to try doing it all together. And what's this? This is how it connects to the database. Yeah, let's copy that over too. And then, so I guess we'll have some migrations, and we'll have run the migration will be the command, I guess. So right now we're not compiling. Yeah, maybe it's time to open up Xcode. Oh, it's opening up, because Xcode crashed, it's opening up the iOS app as well. It's being so helpful, except Xcode should know that Xcode doesn't like having multiple Xcode projects open that depend on the same dependencies. Of course, all of my little projects here for the app line, the underway correlate. So I'm basically only allowed to have one Xcode open at a time. And we are beach balling like crazy today. Force quit. Okay, let's try it. Okay, let's open up Xcode again. I don't understand why it tries to suggest reopening the closed windows, because it just crashed because something was open it didn't like. So no, I don't. I don't want to reopen whatever was open. Okay, there we go. So we need to define this structure. So let's do that. What is it? It's just argument parser, I think. Yeah, it's called Swift argument parser, but the library is just argument parser. Parsable command. Or is it parseable? Let's see. Async parsable. Are we doing async? I guess so. Guess we're doing async. Why not? And now we should get a build error. This does seem extra slow today. But I just restarted my computer, so I'm a little surprised by that. Let's take a peek at activity monitor, I guess. No such module fluent Postgres driver. Oh, I guess we should add that in, huh? Package. We don't have any fluent stuff here. Okay, yeah, we need to pull those on in. I don't remember their name, so let's Google for it. I typed in Google. Fluent Postgres driver. There we go. It is a warm day. Now let's put the vapor stuff together. Oh, this doesn't have any vapor stuff yet? That's kind of interesting. And what's the latest version here? 2.8. then do they give us anything here? They do not. So I guess it's up to us to read what the import statement would be. Fluent Postgres driver. From package, lowercase, fluent Postgres driver. Build operations failed. Well, it should be a little bit better now. Command B. It's kind of gray. Let's see, resolve package versions. What is going on with Xcode? It is not having a good time right now. Is it doing something or what? It's trying. It's not used by any target. No, I am trying to use it in a target. Is this not using it in a target? Just start it again. These all look green and it's still spinning. Where's activity monitor? Why is my computer so slow today? So if I just hit command, nope. Build in progress. Okay, let's do it from the command line. This is bringing me back to doing iOS on a certain project where it was so large that, oh man, most of the time spent on a ticket was just waiting for Xcode. It gave me this tiny laptop and it was not very powerful. And I was just worried about completing tickets on time, but my computer was so slow. I was once helping someone else out on a different project, like in a one-on-one capacity, and they were kind of running into the same thing where the project was just so big that it would not build in any kind of reasonable amount of time. And that was very frustrating because their build was so complicated. It was hard to understand. It was hard to figure out what was wrong with it, and I'm pretty sure there was something wrong with it. Okay, well, it's clipping along in the, what's it called? In the terminal here. Is Xcode feeling any better? Let's stop spinning down here. I wonder what this spin is. Let's just hit Command B. Okay. I'll let that be, I guess. Yeah, the command line and Xcode uses two different build caches. So you can kind of use one to check the work of the other. Yeah, this is so slow. There must be something wrong with my computer today. I'm not trying to quit everything. Oh, and we are getting a beach ball. Can you even quit Discord? Okay. Have you ever had your build go so slow you weren't sure if you're going to finish your ticket on time? Just watching this number. It's probably going to go up again, though. And no messages in here. The only thing that's different is we have Postgres running. I'm trying to load the Twitch dashboard, and that is so slow right now. Something is going on with my computer. Okay, build complete. Wow. Xcode itself is still chugging away. But I guess we can hop into this migrate command. And what do we overthrow? I mean, override. It's async throws. Is it run? And I guess we want to say like up or down. Let's see, let's create a simple migration maybe, or I know how it works like from the Vapor CLI. I'm not sure how it works from if we use it from outside, which is I guess the point of this exploration today. Just import a bunch of Fluent stuff, I guess. No such module? What do you mean? What are you talking about? We definitely have this. Besides, we had a successful build on the command line, so I know it's Xcode that has the problem right now. Well, why don't we just print hello there and see that this is working. Let's see, Swift run kitchen. Oh my goodness. Oh, I guess I don't need the command at the end there. Oops, didn't mean to take off the colon also. So I guess if we say db migrate, we should see it just print out hello. Cannot find? What are you talking about? Oh, right. Oh, I changed the command name. Okay, that's a much better approach. So the abstract is going to be migrate the Postgres database. And I guess we can have a subcommand for up and a subcommand for down. But that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves right now. I think we don't want any subcommands for this moment. Okay, cool. So this part is all set up. Now let's think about how to connect to the database. So I guess we want to establish a connection to the database, register the migrations, and then run them. So I guess let's make a folder for the migrations. And I guess I want to I guess let's just make a simple one, like create trains table. And I think I can... yeah, adhere to this protocol. And then take the stubs. Drop table trains. And I don't remember... oh, right, it needs to be a array. Let's kind of abuse the syntax there for so that it looks pretty. I don't think this is going to work, but you know, we can test it out in the Postgres CLI. Yeah, so we need to say some columns and stuff. Oh, okay. So we sketched out a bunch of these columns last time, and we can put those in, but I'm more curious in getting the infrastructure around this set up. Okay, so we have a migration. Now we want to connect to the database and apply these things. Oh, this isn't a type. It just has the helpful stuff in it. So if we set up a connection source, then we say connection source dot make connection on event loop. Oh, so we got to set up an event loop, I guess, and a logger. I don't want to hard code the name of this logger, so I'm just going to take a string that describes my current type, which I think I can do with self.self actually. Now we need an event loop, so let's make an multi-threaded event loop group. This is just for migrations. We don't need a ton of threads for that. And then we can say event loop group.next. And this should give us a connection. Let's see, what does it actually give us? A future connection. Oh, okay. So we can say try await and then say .get at the end, since we're in an async context. And now that we have a connection, I guess we can query. We can close it. We can execute some statements. Simple query. So is this where I run my migrations? Let me see. What did I do over here? Self.prepare on database as database. Exec strings. I guess I have a connection, not a Postgres database. Which I guess is... Oh, I guess it's the simple query thing. Let's try that. So if I like perhaps have a list of all my migrations and then I can run them through the simple query thing. That's not exactly what I want because I do want some actual migration support from Fluent. I don't want to just run things myself necessarily. So I want to see if I can get this database thing that this Postgres migration on a Postgres database. And how do we get one of these? It has a with connection. Yeah, so these are all on Postgres database, but how do we get one? So here's the connection. It's a class. And that's all just internal stuff. Connect. So we're going to call connect on it. Connect gives us a connection, not a database. This article describes how to adopt the new... Oh, I thought this was going to be about database migrations. Yeah, so given a query, we can make a... Given a connection, we can make a query, but how about getting to that database thing? Does that live here in PostgreSQL? Okay, this is what we were using already. Extension on Postgres database. And how do we get one of these? Ooh, event loop connection pool. This is all private stuff. Oh, event loop connection pool. Okay. Will give us in any Postgres database. This is this is not much documentation, is it? But this is Postgres kit, I guess. This is the closest, and they don't. They don't exactly link to Postgres database docs. No data available. Fantastic. Documentation for PostgreSQL. This is all, looks a little bit more promising. Yes, that'll give us a connection. But what about a Postgres database? Oh, we say .sql on, no, that converts Postgres, whatever this is, to an SQL database. That's not exactly what we need. Where else can we look? This is the row. Let's see, how do I get to this thing? It's a public protocol. And who makes these? Where are you? You're in Postgres Neo. There's a new folder in here. What's this new thing? These are extensions on Postgres database. I don't understand where these are supposed to come from. Let's see, let's go kind of in the other direction. Let's start from the Fluent side. Oh, let's peek in here real quick. And then we'll look up at Fluent Kit. Not really seeing anything obvious here. Oh, here's make database. This is an internal type though. These are all internal types. Is there anything public in here? Database ID is public. Configuration factory has a public Postgres with an URL string. Interesting. This gives back a configuration factory and Yeah, we're in Fluent Kit now, which is where I was kind of expecting us to end up. Hmm. And does this have the migration stuff on it? Not necessarily. So we can make a migrations and add migrations to this thing. And then what? And there's a migrator with databases. Oh, can we pass a connection to a migrator? Ah, it uses a database. That's not what I want. Okay. Well, let's see if we can play around with that. So, migrations. Migrations.add. So this is going to be the one we just created. The create trains table, just for an example. Then we'll make a migrator with a database factory. Databases or database factory. Migrations, I guess this thing on event loop, guess event loop group dot next. And what does a database factory need to do? It needs to return a database. Oh, I guess this is the default thing, this databases thing. Okay, let's try making a databases, I guess. Missing arguments thread pool. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, we made a thread pool. Was it last stream or 2 streams ago? We made this little helper. Which creates a thread pool and a multi-threaded event loop group and stops it at the end. So maybe it's time to move this into somewhere more shareable. New folder, I guess. Maybe async support. New file. Run with thread pool. Since it's just going to have this one function in it, I'm just going to name it after the function. And we'll copy this over here, and then we might just need Neo. Let's see if we get away with just Neo. Oh, and logging, import logging. Process info, that's in Foundation. Okay. So back here. So we need a thread pool and an event loop. So that means that we're going to have an event loop from there. So we can comment that one out. So we'll say run with thread pool on this logger. We'll call it the thread pool and the event loop group. Oops. And then, yeah, I guess we'll comment this out for now. Call can throw. Yes, we'll say try await. Databases, so we'll pass it in the thread pool that this helper is giving us. And the event loop group. Okay. Databases dot use. Oh, here we go. Wait, is this the right one? There we go, because we extended it. We can say use kitchen Postgres. Okay. Things are coming together. Then we can say migrations, and then we can say the migrator. We have a databases now, so we can just pass that in. We have a migrations, we can just pass that in. We have a logger, we can just pass that in. On the event loop group, .next, I guess. And that will take care of all the connections for us. We don't need to make a connection source. And then we say migrator.migrate. Or how do we tell it to do its thing? Set up if needed, prepare batch, revert batch. Preview. Ooh, I don't remember any of these. I'm guessing we set up if needed and then prepare batch. So then there's revert last batch, revert batch, revert all batches. Well, let's no way to it but to do it. Set up if needed. Migrator dot prepare batch. And these are event loop futures, so we can try await them. Done. Setup complete, I guess. Just print some stuff for now. And let's, where were we? Over here. So let's try to run this migration. It won't be able to connect to the database because it's the wrong password. Connection pool that shut down was not called before dinit. Oh, really? Can I defer? Async call cannot occur in a defer body. Well then. I guess that's a risk we'll need to take. I guess these want to be let. That's fine. And let's update the password. Yeah, localhost. I guess for now, let's use our name. And I think that means we don't need a password. Does this take a nil password by any chance? It does. Just leave those two off for now. And let's run it and see what happens. Trains already exists. Oh. So it did something. Okay. Oh, because we created it to test it out. Right. But here we have the fluent migrations. So let's drop both these tables. Okay, we are getting somewhere though. Okay, so let's run the migration again. Shutdown was not called. Interesting. Finished prepare. Oh, so these are its own logging statements. Okay, so now if we look at what's in the database again, we can see, let's see, /d trains and /d fluent migrations. Select star from fluent migrations, and we can see the one row is there. When it was updated, the name of it, I guess the batch number. Oh, I guess it sees each migration as a batch of items, and so yeah, batch number makes sense. Okay. So I guess we can use all these together. So let's see. What's next? I guess actually defining this table, but also perhaps doing a revert. Yeah, we don't need this business since it does for us. But yeah, I guess it really wanted us to close everything. And isn't that supposed to shut it down? We have to stop the event loop group first? Was not called before dinit. Maybe it's not about the order of these. Maybe it's about inside here shutting something down. Do we say databases dot? Looks like there is a shutdown here. What does it do? It starts a lock and shuts down all the drivers. Okay. Okay, there we go. Looking gorgeous. Looking gorgeous. So we do have a couple things going on here. And it looks like prepare batch does run the batch. So we can do some cleanup here. We also want to add, I guess, a revert. Like revert all or just revert the last batch. I'm not sure I want to expose revert batch with a number. Thanks so much for the follow. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. And that puts us at 260 followers. Let's see. Always good to have more folks around. And so where were we? We were saying like what kind of subcommands do we want here? Because there are a lot of options. I wonder what setup with needed actually does. Prevent unstable names, prepare. Oh, okay. Because I'm not always going to want to run the migrations. I'm going to want to revert and preview sometimes too. So we can make a bunch of subcommands to help out with this. And perhaps have a... like this is the interesting part. Everything else is kind of static. So we could possibly make a helper similar to this. Run with Redpool. We could say run with migration configuration. And then have a bunch of subcommands for all these revert commands. Support preview, support revert. Oh, my face got cut off. That's weird. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, let's build up some subcommands, I think is the move. So we can say we can have an up command, we can have a preview command, and we can have a down command, I think. Which will mean we need to define all of those. So let's let's define this first one here. And where are these going to go? Are these going to go in a folder? Sure, why not? Because there's going to be a lot of them, and I don't always want to be looking at them right away. Async parsable command, which means you need to import argument parser. Okay, so that one's defined, and I guess we can extract this as like a little bit of a helper function here. Run with migration guess run with migrator. And this will take a block that receives a migrator. Yeah, and then we can make the calls that we want on it. And yes, this will be async and throws. Expected parameter name. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll just call it block, I guess, and I will spell throws correctly. Oh, we're not allowed to name these things. Okay. That is fine. And then I guess in here we want to call the block. Okay, I guess we will use a static label now. Okay, so if we have this set up, which is basically what we had here, except for this part is taken out, then we can define the up command. We can say run. We can say run with migrator. And we just want what we had before, and that will preserve the same functionality. So the setup if needed and prepare batch. And then does this need to be try? Oh, wait. I think it's going to need to be. Yeah. Yeah, this needs to be async throws. So this looks pretty good. Up command. We have all that stuff abstracted away, so we can just focus on doing what this command is responsible for. Which means, yeah, this run command just completely goes away. And now if we run that command again from the command line, we see that, oh, we do want to change the name, but we can see that it didn't do anything automatically. It's prompting us to choose a subcommand, which is exactly what I want to see. So let's copy paste this over. So the up command is not going to have subcommands. Apply migrations to the Postgres database. Perfect. And now, if we run that again, yeah, we see up, and we can say up. Subcommands is up. And it didn't need to do anything because we already migrated it. Let's go ahead and reset the database. And drop table trains. Oh, here we go. So we have an empty database. So now when we say db migrate up, See that it did some stuff, and now if we come back to Postgres, we see those migrations there. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so let's add in the down command. Can I option click this over to duplicate it? Not quite. I was able to copy it to a separate directory. We can modify this. So this is the down command. Command name will be down. Revert migrations to the Postgres database. And this will be revert last batch. And I guess we can also add in the argument to do all. We can say at flag bool equals. Is it happier now? Cool. So if all we'll say revert all batches. Whoa. Revert all batches. Otherwise, just the last one. So let's see how that looks like. So I took off the up here. I want to see what it looks like. So we can say down. We can say down all, but it doesn't do anything. We can say up. You know, it looks like it works. There's only one migration, so it's guess it's not so obvious. Now, instead of having a flag, like we could have it be like a separate subcommand. Like down one and down all. Because that makes it more obvious. Because if we just say down, it just doesn't exactly say that all is an option. It just runs it. Just runs it. What are we gonna be doing most often? As in, like, should we say down one, or should we say down all, or should we say like this? Like, if we say down all like this, the command name is down all. That's gonna be more typing. But if we run all more often, then we want down to default to all, and we want down one to be the one that takes extra typing. I guess we don't know yet, so we can just say we will change it later if we need to. I guess up kind of is like up all in a way. So I'm going to start off by saying down one is the one that takes more typing. Yeah, so we'll say down one, and we'll say, yeah, revert last batch. And then down, we won't have this flag anymore. We will just revert all batches. And we can put that in the abstract, revert all migrations on the Postgres database. For last migration on the Postgres database, apply all migrations to the Postgres database. Cool, so that's revert. And then I'm not familiar with this preview thing, but I am super curious about it. Perhaps that can be a flag. Let's see, does that build? It does. So we can say, again, just kind of sketching out preview prepare batch, I guess. Result of call to get is unused. Oh, does this actually return something? It returns some stuff. Oh, I guess that's supposed to give us all the migrations and database IDs that are like what it would do, I guess. So it was migration and ID in preview, print migration ID. Okay, so this was the up command. So let's try that. Up dash dash preview. So we can see that it would run the create trains table with a nil database ID. I am surprised that that database ID is nil. Let's take a peek at that. So use kitchen. So this, we do set a database ID here though. I guess it's in the migrations. Let's see if we get something different by explicitly saying an ID here. We do. It's it is quite funky looking. But yeah. I guess we could try to format that a little bit nicer. Give ourselves a gift in the future. So right now that's here. So you can make a little function, say print migration previews. And the type is this. Yeah, so how do we want to do this? What does ID have on it? Oh, I guess it's an optional. So let's force unwrap it for a moment. Oh, it's not giving me anything. Cannot find database ID. Oh, well, that would do it, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's move this to its own file here. Import Fluent Kit, perhaps? Dot string, yeah. Something like that. And then in up command, we can say print integration previews. And let's take another peek at it. Kind of want the ID on the left, I think. Maybe a colon. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to make this spectacularly pretty, but that is a lot more readable. Although, actually, let's try one more tweak. Let's give it the old arrow instead of a colon. Okay. We could add colors, but I think that's going to be a little overkill for this moment. Then we had this run with migrator thing. We want to move this to a separate file also. Oh, and I guess preview isn't a subcommand anymore. We added it as a flag on these two. So new file. Are we building? Build successful. Okay. So how are we looking? I guess we have the top level migrate command. We have the provider with our configuration for connecting to the database, along with an override for when we go to production. We can easily say what the actual URL of the real database is. We have our subcommands. Oh, we didn't add over here. We didn't add the down one command. Now we do have these action function things mixed in here with the subcommands. What does it look like if we cannot find? No, you'll find it. There you go. What does it look like if we separate the actions from the subcommands? Xcode is getting confused. Let's go ahead and restart Xcode. cool. So this structure is looking pretty good. So we did support preview in the up command. We should add this to the other two commands. And we can basically copy paste modify this. So revert last batch, and then can we preview revert last batch? We can. We can try running it. This was the down 1. We just got a bunch of warnings and not much else. I guess if previews is empty, maybe you want to say so. We'll just say nothing to run. Okay. And we didn't add it in here yet. Unknown option. Oh, that's cool. That is pretty darn helpful. Okay, let's add this flag to down. And copy paste modify the internals. Preview revert all batches. Okay, well this was a pretty cute little session. We definitely start off getting a little stuck here, but we found the way through, and this is looking quite gorgeous. I am tempted to add colors. I really am. But I don't want to add those in as gorgeous as that would make it be. It says dependency foundation Swift is not used by any target. We've been getting this warning a lot. But I'm pretty sure that it is being used. So here it is. Let's see if that makes the warning go away. Product not found. Okay. Let's see, does that way work? There we go. We took care. We took care of the warning, so I have cleaner output. Okay, so we've supporting preview, the CLI tool to migrate. And this is what we have, a table of trains with an ID. Let's see, let's find our notes from last week and maybe like actually make something. So last Sunday was the 25th. Yeah, we started to say perhaps a last scene, the trip ID, our own ID, which I don't know if I want to use UUIDs or not. I guess I want IDs that are kind of easy for folks to read, ideally. Perhaps based on their start time and the route, I think would be ideal. But before switching gears to that, let's do the reading for the day. So each stream, we do a little bit of reading from The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. This book has been so inspiring to me, and last time was no exception. This, of course, is also published as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, so I hope you enjoy. Here is Essence from The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. All the work we do, no matter how intricate, holds an underlying essence, a core identity or fundamental structure, like a skeleton supporting flesh. Some call it an isness. If a child draws a picture of a house, it may have a window, a roof, and a door. If you take away the window and look at the picture, it's still a house. If you take away the door, it's still a house. If you take away the roof and the outer walls and leave the window and door, it's no longer clear whether it's still a house. In the same way, each piece of art has a unique, life-giving feature that makes it what it is. It might be the theme, the organizing principle, the artist's point of view, the quality of the performance, the materials, the mood conveyed, or a combination of elements. Any of these can play a role in forming the essence. If a sculptor makes a work out of stone or out of clay, the experience of that work is very different. Yet a work of stone and one of clay can have the same essence. Yeah, I guess you could kind of make the same looking statue out of either of those materials. Reading on. The essence is always there, and our job in the craft phase is not to obscure it. A work's essence may also change. From the time you start until the time you finish. As you refine the work, add elements, and move pieces around, a new, different essence may emerge. Sometimes you may not yet know the essence when you're engaged in the work. You're merely experimenting and playing. When you end up with something you like, you may come to realize what the essence is. Distilling a work to get it as close to its essence as possible is a useful and informative practice. Notice how many pieces you can remove before the work you're making ceases to be the work you're making. Refine it to the point where it is stripped bare in its least decorative form, yet still intact, with nothing extra. Sometimes the ornamentation can be of use, often not. Less is generally more. If you have two units you want to put together, whether it be two sentences or two parts of a song, there can be a tremendous amount of power in doing so without using a transition. try finding the simplest, most elegant way to put a point across with the least amount of information. If there's any question as to whether an element serves the piece, it's probably a good idea to let it go. Some artists get superstitious about removing aspects of a work, as if it will make the project evaporate before their eyes. So it's worth remembering that anything taken away can always be put back later if needed. And we have a quote here. Perfection is finally obtained, not when there's no longer anything to add, when there's no longer anything to take away. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Wind, Sand, and Stars. And I guess there's a little bonus quote here. In the end, the sum of the total essence of our individual works may serve as a reflection. The closer we get to the true essence of each work, the sooner they will somehow, at some point in time, provide clues as to our own. So this is fascinating. I guess this is the edit phase, which I guess he says is in the crafting phase. For those of you just joining, his phases of creation are seeds, kind of gathering ideas, experiments, trying out an idea and seeing what happens with it, crafting, now that you know what you're doing, go ahead and doing it, which is in programming the bulk of the time, and then publishing, making it public, wrapping it up and shipping it to the App Store, for example. So I guess he's putting this essence finding as part of the craft phase, not part of an experiment or of ideas. Because I guess in experimentation, we're still kind of expanding. And at least for me, I tend to pre-edit. I tend to edit often while I'm talking or like while I'm doing something. I think I edit too much in order to find its essence. How does he say it? Like saying something in the least amount of information? Like that's my default. I'm personally trying to find a way to elaborate more and give more information. Although, of course, this reminds me of Project Runway, of the judges saying, you need to edit. This dress has way too many ideas. And I guess also in terms of making an app, once the first version is out, often we're just adding more features. And at some point, I wonder if there's features I could take away from my app. I know even in our coding session today, I chose not to add color to the output, even as pretty as that would be, because I don't want that in the binary. I don't need that extra. And I guess I could do it only in dev, actually. That'd be pretty fun. But once a product has been published, I guess when you remove something, I expect people to kind of react strongly in a negative way, like I was using that. But I guess this feature that I'm working on now, like making my own IDs for the trains, because the MTA doesn't offer unique IDs, sadly. It's usually unique, but again, sometimes they duplicate IDs, or sometimes they change the idea of a train while it's underway, which is feels bonkers. And this is what I love about software. Like removing aspect of a work, we can always put it back later. Because we're using version control, we are free to like experiment in a way that other disciplines don't quite have the same flexibility with. putting the soft in software. I guess I'm still kind of in the experimenting phase for this project, this Train IDs project. And looking at my notes for it, this is something I do want to keep in mind as I go. I do want to create the essence of these of my system to track these trains, because if it's overdone, it's going to be hard to change in the future. I do want kind of the minimal amount of stuff to track a train, which is going to be the goal in the programming phase here. I guess going back to removing, like you can always put it back in. Like in the opening story where he says taking the roof off, it's not clear if it's a house and maybe you do need that roof. Like taking away database fields like we were doing moments ago. Like what is the smallest number of things to identify a train? Yeah, this is a nice little chapter. I know it's what I've been doing with my editing. Like what's the least amount of editing I can do and it still comes across as a full Q developer stream, as a full Q developer podcast. Because I've got so much going on and I don't have much time to put into the video editing. When you end up with something you like, you may come to realize what that essence is. I do have a new phrase to share with you all that I absolutely love, that I think captures the essence of something I've been trying to express for a while now. And it's cheer for each other. Because I'm cheering for you. And you're cheering for me. And I feel like that's my that's the message I'm following. I'm cheering for everybody to have a good life, that their obstacles become easier, that they have an easy time navigating them, and that they cheer for other people too. I feel like if everyone cheers for each other and it's not so competitive, we can really make some cool stuff together. I am trying to form a creative community. What do you do with people who don't cheer for others? I don't know. I don't know yet. But there's plenty of examples of that in the world. And I don't want to be one of them. Well, thanks for joining me for this exploration of Essence. Again, this is Essence from the Creative Act by Rick Rubin. It's been a transformative work reading through this, and I've loved sharing it with you all. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and then we'll get back to some coding. Welcome back, everybody. Just did the reading for the day, and we've been working on a little migration tool for our database. And this is our tasklets over here. I guess the next task is to make these migrations. So yeah, this was just kind of a guess of things that would be nice to know. Thinking about, storing each feed that we download, kind of processing it into a bunch of trains, and then perhaps another system comes through and gathers these trains into a feed. And I guess each train will, how much history are we going to keep here? Oh, let's see. We know we need the start time. And I believe there's a timestamp type in Postgres. Okay, yeah, let's do multi-line string. Yeah, I guess it's trip ID and the NYCT train ID. The NYCT train ID, this could be null, actually. Then I guess our own ID, underway train ID. And I guess we'll call this text for now. And then, yeah, last seen timestamp, last seen station, I guess. And that can be null. So I think this is kind of the minimal thing here. So let's see what so nothing to run. If we say up, it's going to run create trains table. Okay. So let's run it. It ran. And let's see what we got. Timestamp without time zone. I don't like the sound of that. I do want time zones, I think. Let me check some other SQL. Oh boy, what is it doing? This is, oh, it's opening up a SQLite database. No wonder why I had a problem. Let's see, where can I find an example? Oh, probably an fqauth. Yeah, let's check out that code base. GitHub.com, Folky developer. Autocomplete is really annoying here. Okay, migrations. Should timestamp with time zone. Okay. So I have a start timestamp and a last seen timestamp. Which I guess is the same as updated at. Maybe we wanted the first seen timestamp. And this is all experimental. And I guess by timestamp here, these are going to be the timestamps of the feeds. Because each feed ID is going to be a timestamp, I'm pretty sure. Since that's the only way we can, unless we like do a hash. But I mean, that's an ID that they provide us. So I think I'm going to use it. Maybe we'll make it singular. What kind of Postgres numbers do we have? Or should we just keep it as text? And then data will be a... how do we store data in Postgres? Postgres blob data type. I guess I don't have to store this in a database because there's going to be a lot of them. I could store these in like an object storage. But we're going to do a little bit of research here. New users to Postgres often ask if to store binary files like images. There are two schools of thought. Save the binary file to a regular file system to symbolically link, or store the large binary file directly in the database field. Plus, storing and accessing entry utilizes the same interface when accessing many other data types or record. No need to track OID of a large object you create minuses. Both use Toast. Limited to 1 GB. Ah, that is a consideration. Storing metadata. Pluses. Performance accessing binary files skips database access layer. Number of files limited only by file system. Minuses. The database user needs permission to write outside of the database. That's not normally an option in hosted Postgres environments. To keep track of externally attached files. Can get out of sync. Security settings. Multiple points of failure. Yeah. We have udapate here. Tiny little typo. Because I guess right now I'm not storing any feeds at all. I'm completely stateless. I guess I don't need to store it at all, really. Feed timestamp. I guess this can be like because each feed has like an URL. So you can do that to differentiate them, so we don't clobber. They don't clobber each other. Yeah, let's start with not with not saving the data. Where can I put a comment? Feed ID will be the URL ending plus the feed's timestamp. So start timestamp can be from feed first seen, in feed last seen, and I guess these are kind of proxies for. Ooh, I guess these then become texts. I guess having them as timestamps will make it easier to get rid of older trains. Like if it's 2 hours old and still hasn't reached its destination, or like definitely a day old, there's a problem, right? Yeah, but this is going to be all backend stuff. Going forward, we don't need to send any of this down to the client, just the train ID. which will be awesome because that can be something like NYCTA and then like the timestamp, like maybe in 24-hour time. Like that's not a good example. I guess if two A trains start at 250, we'll just add like a .1 at the end or a .2. That makes sense to me. You can say path. What are these? Northbound. Maybe just P for path because the route names. Oh, I guess we could call it like red. Yeah, because this will be kind of processed by me, and then the timestamp part will be what we show the user. That seems pretty good. Although maybe we want to make these dashes then, so we can split on. Make sure we have somewhere safe we can split, maybe. Make it a comma separated list. Yeah, it doesn't really look good mixed, but then all together, like, I do kind of want to safely split. Like the route ID stuff from the specific train identifier stuff. Oh, we can do that because we're using the dots over here also. But I guess the underscore looks a little bit better. Actions could go, I'm like looking at the file structure again. Actions could go in subcommands. Support could go in migration, I guess. But I do like the migrations table only having migrations in it. So apparently this is where I need to register the migrations, so that's a little weird. And then I was thinking we also need to keep track of what stops they have been to the train so we can like keep track if a train is the same train or not as another train. Let's see. Train progress, perhaps. Um, oh, and do I say primary key like in the middle here? I do. Okay. Guess it goes first. I think primary key means it can't be null. Just trying to think of like where. Oh, we need to add more stuff to here. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what this is gonna look like yet. I guess I want to see like. What do I want to see? Maybe like a JSON blob of everywhere that it's been to. I think so. Just like store that as. I don't think I need to. Because yeah, I guess when we go to make the feed, it can just be from these train progresses for stuff that's I don't know, status. Like all the stops that it's made, the stuff that's planning to go to. I guess basically like what we get in the feed. And I guess just like using the timestamp to know if it's arrived or not yet, which isn't always accurate as as estimates do increase over time, as we know with the MTA. So something like this for like a first draft? Which I guess like really perhaps changes how my whole system works. Because instead of fetching stuff from the MTA and storing it in Redis, I'm now fetching it from the MTA, storing it in Postgres. Well, let's run this and see what happens. Train progress does not exist. Oh, thank you so much for following. Table train does not exist. And this is one problem with migration stuff, is that when you change the names of stuff, it doesn't exactly migrate down correctly. Sometimes you have to tweak it yourself, which is okay. We can do that. Yo, how's it going? What are you working on today? Which one was that? Oh, yeah, here we were. So let's migrate up. JSON P does not exist. What is the name of the JSON data type in Postgres? No, in Postgres, not on the internet, not on websites. Postgres JSON data type. JSON B, not P. Way off. I'm learning C. Nice. That was my first programming language too, actually. Feed already exists. Yeah, migrations are all fun until they're not. Oh, because this doesn't do anything right now. Drop table train. Hey, Bitspector, how you doing? Yeah, we had a fantastic stream. Picked one task and did it. We have our migrations kind of ready to go for the next time we work on this. Kinda. And what's left? Not find any relations. Okay, perfect. So if we run this, we can't hear you well with the music. Oh man. I've got the music turned way down, but let's turn it down a little further. Yeah, I guess I am kind of talking quiet today. You're feeling tired. Sorry to hear, dude. So now if I look in here, yeah, we have our tables. Pitspector can't hear the music, and Rapolito only hears the music. Okay. Well, I guess we'll go with these levels for now. All good. All good. Thanks for saying something. Otherwise, the music would just be too loud. I always turn the music up at the end of the stream, and so my settings are never really saved. is one issue. Yeah. I think those sirens are coming through though. I can hear them in my headphones. The sights and sounds of New York City. Okay, so I guess we made a migration. I guess the next step after this would be like writing a whole new kind of fetch infrastructure to write stuff to this table along with the new types. This database stuff doesn't affect anything. I think we can just commit that straight away. Let's see, we want to commit that, we want to commit that, we want to commit that. All this stuff. And this and this. I don't think I want to commit the stuff down here. DB migration infra for kitchen CLI. So what's the app about? My app is for riding the New York City subway. Is this move to trash or... Wait, what did I do here? Why are these modified? So it's an app for New Yorkers. I don't remember committing this, but either way, it's got to go. Sounds ambulancy. Let's see. Do I still have the simulator running? I do not. So the subway in New York City is my favorite thing in the world, basically. So I made an app for it. I've gotten all kinds of 5-star reviews over the years. But you can see the map, and then you kind of tap on a station and you get a little pop-up. See when the train's coming. Is, I guess, the basic case. And of course, we've got a lot more features like sending a link to the train that you're on to your friends. Yeah, people seem to really like it. So, and I like working on it because I ride the subway too. Yeah, I guess that's the short version. Of course, I could talk about it all night long. So yeah, let's delete this because I started to make the migrations in a separate folder. And then throughout the week, I do I take a lot of scenery videos around New York City. And so I show those throughout the week while I'm working on a client. Yeah, I work for myself on nights and weekends and for a client during the week. The goal is to have this app be self-sufficient, and we've made a lot of progress towards that, but we're not there yet. But people love the app, so I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of optimism for this doing well. Yeah, so I guess the next action would be kind of like we're doing here, fetch and store in Redis. Basically do this for, I guess, Postgres, right? Well, I guess before we put stuff into Postgres, perhaps we also want to explore how we would, like, given a sample of data, how would we make the feed from it? I guess we kind of got to think of both things kind of at the same time in a way. So we want to make it easy for for myself when I'm reading the data, and make it easy for myself when I'm writing the data. Rapolito says Swift looks a bit like JS. I guess so. They're kind of in the same family of language syntaxes. They're all C-like, I guess. Extension on an array of, what is it? External data source. So we'll do a little bit on this side, we'll do a little bit on that side, and we'll perhaps find something that we like. Cannot find external data types? What is it then? External data sources. Oh, do I need to import all this? There we go. Cannot find date provider. Do we need to pass that in? That is okay. Yeah, we'll take in the same inputs, I guess. Yeah, we can validate the feed, and yeah, I guess instead of client.store, we'll be running some Postgres stuff here, I guess. And this, I'm not sure how funky this is going to get, but we can start off by putting it right here. I guess with the same stuff. I don't understand what you're doing, but it looks cool. Yeah, how can I explain it better? I guess I kind of need to make some drawings so that it's easier to talk about what kind of the current system is and kind of where I'm going to. Do I have a drawing program? So currently we have some squares. Currently we have the MTA server has a couple different feeds. And let's change the color of this to, I don't know, white, I guess. Time to bust out Sketch. Put some text. Text. There we go. MTA server. So MTA is the Metropolitan Transit Authority. They're the ones that run the subway here, and they have some servers with some APIs. So they have like they have a couple different feeds. They have a feed for the service alerts. Oh, and this needs to be a different color, doesn't it? Text color. They have a service alert feed. There we go. There we go. Then they have a couple different arrival time feeds, which I've modeled here in external data sources. The ACE, the G, the NRQW, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are all in one feed. That's a weird copy paste, but okay, whatever. We'll just do a few of these. And then there's my rectangle. My rectangle, of course, is purple. There we go. Not Microsoft Technology Associate. Cool, have fun with the horses. So there's the underway server, and it there's just like a regular line. Oh my god, what is happening? Line shape, okay. So every so often we get the latest feeds from the MTA server, and I guess this will need to be a little bit bigger, huh? And this text will also need to be a little bit bigger. Yes, every so often we'll hit these feeds and we'll store them inside of a Redis. Let's make a Redis, I guess, an ellipse shape. And then how to make an ellipse. And then I guess a square. A square will finish this up. A little bit of both. Repolito asks, how do you get access for the MTA? Do you pay for it? Do you have a contract? Both. Some of the stuff is free, like the arrival times, but some of the other stuff we show in the app, we do have a contract for with the MTA. I think we have that officially licensed badge on our website. Oh, we don't. Oh, we need that on our website because, use with permission. So at least we have that. And why is this color not changing? There we go. Every so often we store these into Redis, and then we have a processor that line shape. Can I add arrows? Where did my line go? Okay, how do I make this line thicker? Whatever, I'll use a rectangle. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll use text. And let's change the color of that. This app is very eager to put text on a path, and I hardly ever want to do that. See, it did it again. Copy, paste. Transform. And then I have a second Redis, if you believe it or not. Let's join these into a group. And then can we duplicate this? We can. And then we have a I guess a star. We'll use a star for the API server. And then we need a cloud to say to the internet, or at least a phone. I guess the rounded rectangle can be a phone. I don't know how to draw like API server to the phone. So the Android phone, the iPhone, they hit the API server, which gives them the latest feed that the transformer made by getting all these different feeds from the MTA. That's the current architecture of the app. And I'm moving towards, I guess I should save this. Current underway. And I guess what I'm moving towards is I want to save things in databases because the MTA's train IDs don't, there's problems with them. They're not unique. They use duplicates sometimes, and sometimes a train that's en route will all of a sudden have a different train ID. So I need to do a little bit of stuff to deal with that. And that's what we were working on today, was starting the first version of that database with a little bit of migrating commands. And just a first draft at a database schema. Let's see. So I stream every Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., where I do the live coding. And then throughout the week, I'm working on a client, but I am still on Twitch. I show scenery videos that I've taken around the city, which I really love. And I play some music, and we hang out, and it's a good time. But it is 5 o'clock, past 5 o'clock now. There are other things I do need to take care of today. But it was such a joy seeing you all today. I'm cheering for you all on your own projects, whether you're learning something or making something. I hope you find that next spark that you need